How could a drilling rig impact this child's access to food and a glass of cool, clean water? The possibilities are endless. Because access to energy has a direct correlation to quality of human life. In fact, nearly everything we do depends on energy, two-thirds of which is powered by oil and gas, the most affordable, abundant, and reliable energy sources on the planet. Having adequate access to energy powered by oil and gas means the difference between harvesting food using modern technology and plowing a field manually. It's the difference between having clean water at your fingertips and a child filling an old plastic bottle with dirty water. Yet, of the 7.4 billion people in the world today, an estimated 1.3 billion still have no electricity, and more than 3 billion, about 40%, are defined as not having adequate electricity to meet basic human needs. For these people, notably those in sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and isolated low-population regions of Latin America and other developing countries, energy poverty is a brutal fact of life. Access to energy in developed countries versus energy-poor areas is striking. Over the course of a year, the 19.5 million residents of New York consume about the same amount of electricity as nearly 800 million people in sub-Saharan Africa. 2.6 billion people cook and heat by burning wood or other biomass, producing noxious gases in the home that predictably sicken its inhabitants. Continued excess use of wood for fuel in many areas leads to widespread deforestation, further degrading the environment. In Haiti, where wood is the primary source of fuel, deforestation has become a significant environmental problem, as reflected in this stark image delineating the border between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Lack of electricity means families often don't have enough to eat and are without clean running drinking water. Non-existent or intermittent electricity means light by which to read and study, and the ability to obtain routine medical tests, treatment, and intervention are often unavailable. In 6 African countries, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, Ghana, and Liberia, 230 million people live without electricity. These people lack access to safe and healthy electric cooking and heating, reliably powered medical facilities, refrigerated medicines, and light. In Ethiopia alone, more than 3/4 of the population live without electricity. In Nigeria, half the population has no access to power. Across the entire African continent, nearly 600 million people are without electricity. Energy consumption in Africa is very low. Compare the average annual use of electricity of citizens in these 6 African nations versus the energy used by a refrigerator in the US. In most of the world, we take for granted the accessibility to hydrocarbons and the ways they enhance our lives. Today in developed countries, hydrocarbons power everything from transportation to communication to healthcare to food processing. By 2050, global population is forecast to increase by another 2 billion, from 7.4 to 9.4 billion. How will these new people heat their homes, produce food, and cook meals, treat the sick? These are the ills our industry can alleviate, but we must have access and license to do so. In tracking the path of human progress over the past 2,000 years, a clear correlation can be drawn between increased energy consumption and life expectancy and prosperity. Between 1900 and 2000, global energy consumption rose 17-fold. Over the same period, gross world product increased by a factor of 16, from $2 trillion to $32 trillion. Automation fueled by hydrocarbons in developed nations has enhanced food production. It also has shortened the work week to give people the gift of more time and leisure. There is also a strong correlation between hydrocarbon use and life expectancy and income in China and India, 2 developing countries that have been responsible for a significant percentage of the increase in hydrocarbon used in the last 15 to 20 years. The abundance of fossil fuels, such as oil and gas, and technological advances that have made hydrocarbon production efficient, safe, and accessible in developed countries has the potential to deliver the same benefits to these energy-poor regions, taking billions of people out of darkness into light.